Welcome to a special Father's Day edition of Tune In Tuesday. I'm Angela Parker. I'm the Communications Director here at Center Point Church, and I have the privilege today of sitting with a couple of CC dads, and we're just going to have a conversation with you guys about fatherhood and what it means to be a dad, and so we're glad you're here to join us. I'm going to go ahead and let these guys introduce ourselves. I'll start here. This is my husband, Brad, and I'll let him introduce himself further.
Hi, I'm Brad Parker. I'm a community groups coach. I have a 15-year-old son and a 11-year-old daughter.
Sweet. Oh, you did me. Okay, well, I'm Alex, married, got 2 kids. They're awesome, a boy and a girl. Become a Center Point for, I want to say about 5-7 years now, serving different capacities. But I'm just here to have a conversation. So, yeah.
All right, my turn?
Yeah.
I'm Rex Lotzenheiser. I work with CC Kids. I'm a service coordinator. And I have 2 girls and 2 boys, and they're all grown. They're married, have kids, and actually we have our 13th grandchild on the way, hopefully this weekend. So don't know if it's a boy or a girl. They won't tell us. It's a secret.
How dare they?
It's a surprise, not a secret. It's a surprise.
Yeah. All right. Well, I have a few questions that I sent the dads in advance so that they could be a little prepared. But we're going to kind of mix it up in order so they don't know what to expect. So, well, I'm going to start with this one. What is something that has completely surprised you about being a dad? And we'll start with you since you went last.
With me?
Mm-hmm.
Well, becoming a dad, what surprised me was how much homework I had to do besides what I did in school.
Right.
I think I did so much more homework and late night projects than what I did in school. And then on the flip side of that, the one thing that surprised me was how hard it is to punish and how hard it is to say no. That was something that really struck me because I think when I think about it, it's like I know that I just need to punish and I know that I need to say no. But when it came down to it, it was really tough.
Oh,
it was really tough.
Was it the look?
Yeah, it was the eyes, the look at dad, So
yes, the looks, the eyes.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
We're going in reverse order this time.
Good. Well, mine was definitely not the no. The punishing, I can get there. That's always so hard. You're looking at me.
Yeah.
You shouldn't. You just turn around and let's go to the corner. But for me, man, something that was surprising. So they tell you all the time, right, that kids are expensive. I did not know, though, that's why you have baby showers. So, like, all the expensive stuff and all of the, the big bulk stuff, you get there. And so we had diapers for our first kid almost, like, the whole year. And so then the first time I actually had to go and get diapers, I was shocked. I was like, wait a minute. These things are like $30 a box. This is crazy. But
especially considering how much they poop.
Yeah, that's another surprising thing too. Like in the hospital, the kids got to poop first before you go home. And I remember, I think it was like 2 days before he even got his first little shindig in there. And then for a whole week there was nothing. So we were like, wait a minute. I thought we were supposed to just run through these things like it was yesterday's business. But that was definitely surprising. And then they turned 1, and it's like floodgates all day long, like 4 or 5 diapers all day long. So that $30 price tag,
surprising.
Yeah, it's surprising. But other than that, for us, it was definitely like a lot of grace, for sure. A lot of people kind of just poured in, so like it was a lot of community. But I can't say that I agree with the whole kids are expensive thing. Well, in my experience, we've been blessed with like big community. But really, my kids are like minimalists. Like, honestly, they don't really need much. My son. So, oh man, funny story. I can't believe I'm saying this. So, have you ever had the little Baby Bell like cheese?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, I don't know how he got into that. I must have missed this part. But we get the cheese, and he takes the little wax and he mashes it together, right? and he builds things with it. Now, remind me.
Yeah.
To remind you though, they're bright red when they first come out. Now, they're a dark, deep dark burgundy. So I can't tell you what's in them, but they still work just as but there's some hair in it somewhere. But he plays with it just like Play-Doh, which is very odd. So I don't know why I told you that story, but still surprising.
He's minimalist.
Not much at
it's
all.
like kids would rather play with Tupperware than with toys.
Yeah. The remote, as opposed to the one thing that I just bought you for $15. Why? But anyways, that's that's me. Yeah.
I would say for me, it's the emotional roller coaster. Like you go in within one breath of loving your kid and then wanting to strangle your kid. Right. But then also the amount of emotions that tweens and teenagers bring into the house. And how that is a force to be reckoned with. A tween girl, yes, but a teenage boy is just as bad. So, that was what shocked me.
You say that so calmly. Like you're used to it, for sure.
Now. He says it calmly now.
Oh, okay, so you're on the other side of it. Oh, there you go. All right.
That's funny.
All right, so what is something that you took from your own dad and have used with your kids? So I'm going to hit you first this time. We're going to change it up.
Okay, something I took from my dad. So my kids don't do homework yet, right? But my dad was always like, education. And he always got on me about do everything that you can with everything that you got. And so, my dad kind of used to ride me hard a little bit. Whatever you put your hands to, make sure that it's golden. With my kids, I started with Braylon. So we put him in, that's my son. So we put him in soccer. And I thought, man, he's got it in his blood. I did soccer, parents did soccer, my dad, he was a great coach. So I'm going to impart the same things on him. Well, we put him in a little soccer program, and I thought, again, my kid, he's going to be like the star kid. That's what every parent is. While everybody else is, figuring out, how to kick a ball, how to stop a ball, he's over there picking flowers. I'm like, wait, that's not how it's supposed to be. But my dad was also a patient man. And so, surprisingly, I inherited that gene. And so, now, I don't know what the threshold is yet.
Wait till the tweens.
So Brad says, being patient with him and just figuring out, what? Maybe he's not the soccer ace. Maybe he's a visualizing type of human being. He just likes nature. So I don't know, just exercising that kind of patience and not putting my expectations on him like, you would think. That was kind of the surprising thing for me with my dad, kind of taking that up. But it's so weird what you pick up that you think you're not really learning, and it just became just an innate thing for me. Yeah.
Me?
So my dad, he was very involved in sports and activities. Mm-hmm. And so that's one of the things that I put a huge effort into. Initially, it was very similar to your situation. Aiden is gifted with good hand-eye coordination, and he was playing baseball at 3, with me throwing it to him and him hitting it. Got him into baseball. He was picking flowers. I was his coach. My dad coached me from the time I was 5 to 15. I was like, all right, I'm going to be his coach. I loved it. I loved having my dad as a coach. But when you have a headstrong child and a headstrong dad, something's got to give.
Oh, man.
It doesn't mix.
That's where... So it was... but being involved in all their activities, be as present as often as you can, make it a priority, because when they look out from the crowd, that's what they want to see.
Absolutely. No, that makes sense.
And my dad, grew up in the early century. So, but we got it was our household. I mean, he was pretty firm and strict, and but yet loving and patient. Mm-hmm. And I feel like I picked up the same thing with the patience, and I don't react. My dad never reacted. He would always look at the situation. My mom would always say, Rex, just wait till your dad gets home, and then I would be thinking about that the whole day, But when he would get home, it would be more of a, let's talk about it. let's what went on, and I feel like I picked that up as well with my kids, and not really raising never had to really raise my voice. If I raised my voice, they would say, stop yelling. And I would say, you want to hear me yell? And then they would say, oh, no, we don't want you to yell. Raising your voice is fine. So we always laugh about that. But then my dad liked to laugh, too. And I think I picked that up as well. We like to have fun, and laugh, and enjoy life.
Awesome.
That's cool.
Patience, skip me.
It went over.
All right, speaking of laughter, tell me your favorite dad joke. You go first this time.
Okay.
It's your turn.
What is Forrest Gump's license plate? 1 Forrest 1.
Oh, nice.
That's bad.
That's bad.
It's clever.
That's bad. Okay, Rex, you go next.
It's so funny because I actually have a calendar at work that is bad dad jokes. So
you were well prepared.
So I look at them every day, but the one that I go back to, my kids always just sort of roll their eyes, and as does Cheryl. Cheryl, my wife, she rolls her eyes as well. But when we're driving down the road, we'll go by a cemetery, and I'll say, "Man, look at all those graves, look at all those headstones," and they'll say, "Yeah." And sometimes I'll say, "How many people do you think are dead in there?" And they'll look and say, "Oh, I don't know, 1,000." And then I look at them and say, "Well, all of them."
Oh, clever.
And the other side of that is I say, you know what? People are just dying to get in there.
Stop it. Oh, man.
So anyway, I get the eye roll on some of those.
All right, let's hear your dad joke.
Oh, good. I cannot top that. I definitely Googled some because my dad's jokes definitely were not funny. The closest I got to any chuckle was, what time does a dad go to the dentist? 2:30.
2:30. Oh, there you go.
Oh, it was good. Yeah. Courtesy laugh. That's good. Yeah, there you go.
I'll loan my calendar to you.
There you go.
Please do. I need a. Yeah.
Now you know what to get him for Christmas.
I do.
Add me to the 13th.
Yeah.
There you go.
Right.
Yeah, 14. Look at that. You can skip me.
You can be our 14th. Yeah. I'll take it.
I dropped it on camera.
All right, so I think. Oh, how has fatherhood changed you? I'm gonna go back to you on that one.
Back to me.
Mm-hmm.
I think when I became a dad, that it made me realize it's not about me. It's about all up until you're married. You have your wife, and then it's all about what we want to do, what I want, where I want to go. Okay, I'm going golfing on Saturday. And I think you become, at least for me, become more giving and do that. And it's just not about me anymore. It's I've got little ones now, so it's about them as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, it gets hard sometimes.
Almost along the same lines. So going back to my dad being a coach and me wanting to coach kids, and Eden, our oldest, being headstrong, and me being headstrong is where it's the same thing. Me taking a step back and saying that it's not about my desire to want to coach you, or my need to be your biggest cheerleader.
Oh, cool.
Because that's what he needed. Now, my daughter wanted me to get in the tutu and ballet tights, and I would do it. She wanted me to teach her. I don't know the first thing about it, but you can YouTube anything. But yeah, that's where. But again, being the biggest coach, but understanding what they need.
Yeah. Good point. How it's changed me. Mine's more so. I feel like I've always kind of grown up with the idea of like what a dad would be like. But when my second one was born, that's when I think it really kind of shifted for me, in a sense of like, you have a boy, you want to be all, rough and, dirt. He was definitely not that kind of kid. He doesn't like getting dirty for anything. But with her, it was so different because now you're just protecting this cute little girl who's dainty. You don't want her to be, clumsy or anything like that. And for me, I think what changed was knowing how to love the same but two different people.
Yeah.
And that was, I remember even the conversation that I had with my mom. I was like almost pleading with her. I was like, Mom, do I love this one more than the other one? Is that even possible? Why am I so terrible? Like ugly crying. But then, you realize it's the same as having brothers and sisters. There's one that you love differently than the other. And for me, having that capacity is what changed me. It's just so different. You look at one and you say, you're this package and you're this personality and you're all of this. And then the other one is just not different. They're just them. And so, yeah, for me, that was such a big realization. Whether I have the capacity to love a third, that was like, I agree with you. We're retired. We're good. So I'm all right with that. No more for me.
You can love them the same, but you may not like them the same at that moment.
Brad, I didn't want to say it, but thank you for saying it for me. Thank you for saying it for me. I agree. No, 100%.
Sometimes you may not like either one of them.
Looking forward to that. Okay.
Always love them.
Yeah. But I
There you go.
like
Okay, I'm okay with that.
Yeah. All right. So, tell me a favorite dad story. A parenting fail, a silly moment, a crazy adventure you've had, something like that. We'll go with you first.
With me first?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, we've had a lot of camping experiences. We've had a lot of camping fun. That's even today with camping, our married children will say, "Oh, you're going camping? We'll be there." So they still want to go and join us. But I think one that sticks out to me though is we went on a cruise with all the kids, and it was for Zach's graduation, our oldest. And one of the excursions we picked at one of the islands was swimming with the stingrays, and which I thought, this sounds great. Let's get out there, and we're in with the stingrays. And so we get in the boat, we get out there, and we get out, and they give us food to give to the stingrays, Well, I've got a screaming daughter on this side. I've got a wife. My wife, she's on this side. I've got one son that likes it, and then it's like, where's Jeremy? Where's our other son? And we look, and he's in the boat. He had gotten in the water and got out of the boat. So I think back to that story, and I'm like, okay, did we traumatize them? Or is this was this a good memory maker, or just did we traumatize them?
Was it around the crocodile?
Yeah, really. But no, that was one that stuck out to me. It was just like, you got some kids that like things, you got some, and you're thinking all of them will like it. Mm-hmm. Well, that doesn't always. That's not always the case. Yeah. I enjoyed it.
There you go. That matters.
Yeah, it does. But it's not about me. Remember?
No.
Yeah.
Right. Well, yeah, you're right. Yeah.
You gonna go next?
Yeah. So I would say a crazy adventure really has been the last 15 years. Not as a parent, but our kids are Army brats. Mm-hmm. So our 15-year-old, this is his 8th address, and our 11-year-old, this is her 6th address. And so every time we move, it's always an adventure. We always make the best of it. We usually take a little bit of leave in between duty station to duty station, and whether it be a long road trip or vacation of some sort to make it a good experience. It's always been an adventure, and to soften the blow when you get there because they have to make new friends, new school and stuff like that. So I would say, really, that's the adventure. That it has its ups and downs.
I'm glad we're part of your adventure.
That's good. Mine's just going to throw every single thing that I said up until this point out the window. I remember saying that I was a patient person. I got it from my dad.
No, it's perfect.
Oh, man. That one.
Same all the time.
Oh, man. So teaching him how to ride a bike. So we got him a bike, I want to say like maybe 4 weeks ago. Mm-hmm. And like my son can do, up until that point, he can do anything. Like you give it to him, he'll figure it out. It just seems like taking your foot and putting it on the pedal to push it forward was just the most insane and difficult experience for me. It was just crazy because you think, oh yeah, I just get on the bike, I just ride it. But now I'm having to break down every single mechanic, like every single technique. And I never thought I'd be this dad, but I literally was YouTubing how to ride a bike, how to teach a kid how to ride a bike, how to teach a kid how to ride a bike with like the what do you call them? Yeah, the training wheels. And then for some reason, when he got on the bike, he was teetering like this. And so I was like, wait, did I do something wrong? Because these things, aren't they supposed to be on the floor? So I'm sitting here figuring out whether it's the machine that's broken or I'm broken. Or maybe his legs don't go the right way. So my wife and I had a bet. We were like, okay, it's going to be maybe about 3 weeks before he figures this out. Well, lo and behold, 2 days in, after lots of ugly crying, and
you were him.
Yeah, which of you?
We'll say him. But like, and just how you have, this is perfect. I love this conversation. How you have that, people are watching. Kind of angry tone, but you're whispering it, but like it's like
through gritted teeth.
Get it, just push it. Yeah, there was a lot of that. Bro. Yeah, a lot of that. And then 2 days in, he's like an ace, turning and doing things we didn't even teach him. So like that was an adventure. So for the reason why that was an adventure for me more so than him is if this is what it's like riding a bike, I can only imagine multiplication and division.
Driving. That's what we're at.
Oh, yeah.
Driving a car. Yeah.
So there was a little bit more crying after that. But yeah, definitely that set up the next, we'll go with 16 years. He's got to be out of here by 18.
Yeah. What we've realized is there are some things that I'm good at teaching. We're both good at teaching. There's some good things that some things that I'm good at teaching. There's some things that she is way better at teaching. Yeah, and wisdom. So it's just like knowing my threshold. Like, oh yeah, give it to mom.
No, good point.
That's what mom takes it, like parallel park.
Do they do that anymore?
And right,
they do in our house.
Oh, nice. Okay, all right. Not good.
All right, I lost track of whose turn it is to start. Okay. The last question, is what is one piece of advice that you would give a new dad? It could be serious, it could be funny, it could be practical. Your choice.
There's so many.
Yeah. Is to understand that when your child is reacting to a situation in a negative light. They're moody, they're back talking and stuff like that. Sometimes it's just that they have an attitude, towards you. But sometimes there's also an underlying issue, and I've learned from her to, ask questions but remain quiet.
That's good.
Our kids, when there's a void in conversation, they want to fill it, and that's when they start. And so it's to have that ability to have that quiet time with the kids. We still put our kids to bed at night, so yeah,
it's good. It's good, man.
How about that quiet time with your kids where they can just talk? In the dark, like sometimes lying next to them, looking at the ceiling, seeing what they'll say.
It can be serious, but have that develop that mechanism for you to have that line of communication, to build the relationship. Yeah, because as they grow older, I'm seeing there's less and less of that, and so to find those times where you still have that, maybe at the dinner table. Or bring them together.
You start watching for it more. Yeah, to have that moment.
Yeah.
That's good.
All right, we'll go to you next.
Man, that's good, man. That hit me. That hit me. Oh man. For me, I would say the most profound advice for me that I'm still living now is they're not me. And that goes like both ways, both as in, they're not me as myself, but also how my parents were with me. I picked up the patience from my dad and all, and how he did it worked for me. But the way that I exercise it most times didn't work for my son. And so I had to kind of learn how to recalibrate that and like fit his personality. And there's certain things that I do with him that I would never do or never be able to do, with my daughter. And so it almost goes to your point too, is being so attentive and like intentional about learning who they are, that like the things that you've learned growing up, you can more effectively instill in them, or you can be, again, just a better human being in front of them. I think for me, like, yeah, my dad was a hard man also. He didn't talk a lot, but he knew when to talk. And when he did talk, it was very poignant. And me, I just, like a bummer. My son is like that. But if you look at my daughter, she's just no words, nothing. And so it's just learning what fits where.
Right.
And I think like that's such a lifelong thing, though, But I'm glad that I'm aware of it now. And so like it'll save maybe him a lot of, I wouldn't say that I had resentment, but there was a lot of things that I hadn't gotten a chance to really work out, with my dad until I became a dad and I really understood those things. But yeah, that would definitely be that, just being so attentive and like intentional with them.
How to relate.
Who they are, though. Yeah.
Isn't it funny how like so much of our own, we don't really figure out our own parents like at all until you become a parent, and then it's like you see things through a totally different light of
absolutely.
And then you also felt like, I am so sorry.
The parenting
I can't believe I just said that. I'd never say that.
Yeah.
Like my dad, his favorite saying was, I didn't fall off the turnip truck yesterday. And then I'm telling that, and you're saying that.
Stop it.
This gives me a more appreciation for my parent. Being a parent, you look at your parent and say, man, I appreciate him so much more than what I did when I was living at home.
Yeah. No,
absolutely.
so, it's good.
But my turn?
Mm-hmm. Your turn.
I had a couple things, if that's okay.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, no, I'm not sure. Well, one thing is pray for your kids. Make sure you just pray for them and tell them that you love them. Tell them that you're proud of them. And they want to hear that from dads. Encourage them. They want the dad to be the encourager. And it's when they hear that you love them and it's coming from the dad and not always the mom, it makes a big impact on them. They look up to dads. They look up to us, and they want us to encourage them and be proud of them. So, and then one other thing that I want to talk about is not just the parent-child relationship, but the husband-wife relationship. And that's one of the parent-child relationship is important, but the husband-wife relationship is probably the most important. Because if your relationship is good, if the kids know that you love each other, then their whole world is good. It's solid. Everything's okay with them. They don't have to worry. They feel secure. And, taking your wife and going out on a date, once a week, going away for a weekend, taking a week out of the year and going by yourself and leaving the kids with somebody, it helps build your relationship and make it stronger, and the kids see that and they feel more secure and everything's good and okay. So, it's a challenge to do that sometimes, but if you make it a priority, in the end, it really impacts the children as well. Yeah.
Definitely good advice there. So, all right, well, that's all the questions I have. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this episode of Tune In Tuesday. Before we go, I'm going to ask Rex to pray for all of our dads. So if you guys will join us in prayer.
All right, let's go ahead and pray. Heavenly Father, I just thank you for this time that we can sit out here and chat and talk and just laugh a little bit and be serious a little bit. And I just thank you for all the dads that are watching or listening, and the ones that haven't had a chance to watch. Lord, I just ask that we lift them up and lift us all up, as sometimes it's challenging.
sometimes it's hard, sometimes it's easy, but each family, each dad has their time with their kids that they may struggle with, or they may be just everything perfect. Lord, I also pray for the wives that we have. They're as much encouragers as the dads, and they encourage us, lift us up to be better dads. Lord, I'm so thankful for my wife and the wives that do that. Lord, I pray for the kids too, as during this time it's been challenging with everything that's going on. Lord, I just pray that we can relate to them, that we can understand what they're going through, and that we can, as dads, that we can help them through this time. Lord, we love you, we thank you, and Lord, we want to emulate you to our kids and be more like you. Lord, I thank you again for this time. Just bless us on Father's Day, and let us have a great day as dads. In Jesus' name.
Amen. All right, well, that was it. Stay tuned. We're going to go ahead and do the announcement for our Father's Day giveaway winner. So I'll be right back. Thanks.
Hey everybody, Angela here, and I am back to do our Father's Day giveaway. Before I do the drawing though, I wanted to say thank you to Alex, Rex, and Brad for being a part of our Father's Day conversation. It was great to sit and chat with you guys, hear your dad jokes, and hear some of the stories about your experiences as dads. So thank you very much for participating. And here's the thing, I wish I could have sat down with all of the CC dads today and chatted with you about what it was like to be a dad. I couldn't, however, I would love for you to participate in the conversation. So in the comment box below, go ahead and tell us your stories. Share your favorite dad joke. Tell us what you've learned and what's been important to you as being a father. So we would love to hear from all of you. Now, with that said, I'm going to go ahead now and do our drawing. As you know, 3 lucky dads are going to win prize packages from Rick's Custom Meats. We are purchasing packages of different meats, and Rick's is throwing in some fun spices and rubs and all kinds of other things to make this a really nice giveaway package for our dads. So I'm going to pull up my drawing widget, and looks like our winners are Brandon Kane, Claire Desir, and Christina Sonnenberg. I'll say those again. It's Brandon Kane, Claire Desir, and Christina Sonnenberg. You are the winners of our Father's Day giveaway. So I will be sending you an email tonight to let you know how you can claim your prize. But thank you to all of you that entered. I hope all of you CC dads have a wonderful Father's Day. And thanks so much for tuning in. Be sure to join us next week for another Tune In Tuesday. Good night. Bye-bye.